The quantum detector's alarm shattered the pre-dawn quiet of the European Space Agency's Deep Space Research Center in Geneva. Dr. Sarah Lakshmi paused her coffee mug halfway to her lips, dark eyes fixed on the reading that shouldn't exist. The signal pulsed with an impossible regularity, its pattern defying every known law of quantum mechanics. "Marcus, are you seeing this?" She called out to her colleague without taking her eyes off the display. The signal wasn't random quantum noise, it was a beacon, broadcasting from somewhere beyond Neptune's orbit. Dr. Marcus Reeves wheeled his chair across the control room, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of holographic displays. "That's not possible," he muttered, but the data didn't care about possibility. The quantum signature pulsed with mathematical precision, each burst exactly 3.14159 seconds apart. Pi, the universal constant. Within hours, the ESS Horizon, humanity's most advanced deep space research vessel, received its new orders. The ship had been designed to push the boundaries of human exploration, equipped with experimental quantum tunneling drives that could bend space-time in ways their creators barely understood. Now, those same drives would carry them toward the first proof of intelligent alien life. Commander Diana Wright stood on the Horizon's observation deck, watching Earth shrink behind them. 20 years in the Space Force hadn't prepared her for this moment. The ship's quantum drives hummed beneath her feet, folding space in carefully measured increments as they accelerated beyond conventional physics. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Dr. James Chen, the ship's lead quantum physicist, responded from his station. "Quantum signature remains stable, Commander. We're tracking it to a point approximately 42 AU from Earth, just beyond Neptune's orbit. Based on our current acceleration, we should reach the source in 72 hours. The Horizon carried Earth's finest, 300 researchers, engineers, and crew members chosen for their brilliance and adaptability. They'd trained for first contact scenarios, but those protocols assumed they'd be the ones making first contact, not responding to what felt increasingly like a summons. As they passed Mars' orbit, the quantum signal changed. The mathematical sequence evolved, becoming more complex, incorporating other universal constants. It was a language of pure mathematics, and with each solved equation, the ship's AI refined their course. "It's a test," Dr. Chen announced on the second day, his excitement barely contained. "Each signal is more complex than the last. They're gauging our ability to understand and respond." Commander Wright frowned. "Or they're assessing our technological capabilities." 20 years of military experience had taught her that tests weren't always benign. The ship's quantum computers worked tirelessly, decoding each new mathematical puzzle and broadcasting solutions back into the void. With each correct answer, the signal grew stronger, drawing them deeper into the outer solar system. 70 hours into their journey, as Neptune's blue disk dominated their long-range sensors, everything changed. The quantum signal stopped its mathematical sequence and instead transmitted a single clear message in binary: CACQUNTUNOPRA stones immengi dieteli. You riskly what you cannot cure and play end. Before Commander Wright could order a response, space itself seemed to tear open. A massive vessel emerged from what looked like a hole in reality itself, a ship that made the Horizon look like a rowboat aside an aircraft carrier. Its hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, covered in geometric patterns that hurt the eyes if viewed too long. Multiple quantum signatures detected, the sensor officer reported, her voice tight with tension. "The vessel's mass, sir, it's larger than anything we've ever encountered. Their power output exceeds our sensor's capacity to measure." The alien ship broadcast again, this time in perfect English. "We are the Varkath, guardians of..." Multiple smaller ships emerged from the massive vessel, their designs just as incomprehensible. They moved with impossible precision, surrounding the Horizon in a complex three-dimensional formation. They're powering weapons, the tactical officer reported. "Unlike anything we've seen before, they're creating localized quantum singularities." Commander Wright's mind raced. The Horizon wasn't defenseless. It carried experimental shields and a handful of quantum-enhanced weapons. But against this level of technology, they might as well have been throwing rocks. Their only advantage was that their quantum drive technology was new, untested, and possibly unpredictable. "All power to the quantum drives," she ordered. "Plot a tunneling trajectory back to Earth. We need to warn them." The Varkaf ships fired as one, their weapons distorting space itself around the horizon. The ship's shields, designed to handle the stresses of quantum tunneling, strained against forces they were never meant to contain. Dr. Chen's fingers flew across his console. "Commander, if we overload the quantum drives in a specific sequence, we might be able to create a cascading tunneling effect. It's never been tested, but theoretically." "Do it," Wright commanded. They had seconds at most before the Varkaf weapons breached their shields. The quantum drives screamed in protest as Chen pushed them beyond their design limits. Space twisted around them, reality itself buckling under the strain of competing quantum forces. The horizon shuddered, its hull creaking as fundamental forces of the universe fought for dominance. In that moment of desperation, something unexpected happened. The cascading quantum effect didn't just create a tunnel through space, it created a wake of quantum disturbances that rippled outward, interfering with the Varkaf weapons. Their precisely calculated quantum singularities became unstable, forcing their ships to break formation. "Multiple quantum tunnels forming," Chen reported, his voice filled with equal parts terror and amazement. "The drive overload is creating a quantum storm." Commander Wright grabbed her chair as reality buckled around them. "Get us out of here. Maximum emergency thrust." The horizon plunged into one of the quantum tunnels just as the storm reached its peak. Behind them, the organized formation of Varkaf ships dissolved into chaos as multiple quantum tunnels opened and closed randomly, making their precise technology temporarily useless. They emerged from the quantum tunnel near Mars, their drives nearly burnt out but still functional. The ship's systems were damaged but repairable. More importantly, they had survived and learned something crucial about their new enemies. "Their technology is more advanced," Wright observed as they limped toward the red planet's orbit, "but it's also more rigid. They didn't expect us to use quantum technology so recklessly." Dr. Chen nodded, still studying the readings from their desperate escape. "Their quantum manipulation is precise, controlled. Ours is crude by comparison, but that unpredictability might be our only advantage." Commander Wright opened a channel to Earth, knowing that humanity's future had just changed forever. They had days at most before the Varkaf recovered and followed them. Their mission of peaceful first contact had failed, but they discovered something perhaps more valuable, a potential weakness in an overwhelmingly superior force. As she composed her report to Earth's Unified Defense Council, Wright couldn't help but smile grimly. The Varkaf had called humanity's quantum experiments crude and dangerous. They were about to learn just how dangerous humans could be when pushed into a corner. The quantum detector in Geneva would soon be picking up new signals, the approach of an alien armada intent on containing humanity's technological growth. But humanity had never responded well to containment, and the Varkaf were about to learn that lesson the hard way. The price of tomorrow would be paid in full, one way or another. The emergency council chamber beneath Geneva hummed with tension as holographic displays showed the approaching Varkaf fleet. 48 hours had passed since the ESS Horizon's desperate escape, and humanity's response was anything but unified. Representatives from Earth's major powers argued while precious time slipped away. "We should surrender," the Chinese ambassador insisted, his hologram flickering with interference from the growing quantum disturbances in near-Earth space. "The technological gap is too great. We've all seen the Horizon's sensor logs." Commander Diana Wright stood at the center of the chamber, her uniform still bearing scorch marks from the battle. "With all due respect, Ambassador, surrender isn't an option. The Varkav aren't interested in our submission. They want to eliminate our quantum technology capabilities entirely. That means bombing us back to the pre-digital age. Dr. James Chen stepped forward, neural implants projecting data directly onto the chamber's main display. The Varkav use quantum technology for everything: weapons, communications, navigation. But their systems are highly structured, almost rigid. During our escape, our crude quantum drive overload created chaos in their formation. The Russian Federation's military chief leaned forward. You're suggesting we weaponize our technological inferiority. I'm suggesting we weaponize unpredictability, Chen replied. The Varkav have perfected quantum technology over thousands of years, but perfection can breed inflexibility. The debate raged on until Elena Santos, newly appointed commander of Earth's Combined Defense Fleet, took the floor. Her dark eyes blazed with the same intensity that had earned her command of humanity's largest space vessel, the EDS Prometheus. We have 36 hours before their main fleet arrives, she stated, cutting through the argument. Our advantage isn't in our ships or our weapons, it's in our solar system itself. We've spent centuries learning to survive in this harsh environment. It's time we put that knowledge to use. The plan that emerged wasn't elegant, but it was uniquely human. As the Varkav fleet approached Neptune's orbit, humanity prepared its defense. Military vessels took position behind Jupiter's radiation belts, civilian ships evacuated to the asteroid belt, and quantum research facilities transferred their data to hardened bunkers beneath the lunar surface. Commander Santos stood on the Prometheus's bridge, watching the tactical display as the last pieces fell into place. The ship, nearly twice the size of the Horizon, represented humanity's best attempt at a military vessel. Now it would serve as bait for a desperate gambit. All ships report ready, her tactical officer announced. Quantum signatures detected approaching from the outer system. Multiple capital ships, largest matches the vessel encountered by the Horizon. Santos took a deep breath. Begin broadcast on all frequencies, including the quantum band. Her voice carried across space, reaching both the approaching Varkav fleet and every human vessel in the solar system. This is Commander Elena Santos of the Earth defense ship Prometheus. We know why you're here. You believe our quantum technology represents a threat to universal stability. You're not wrong. Our understanding is incomplete, our methods crude, but crude doesn't mean ineffective. The Varkav response came immediately, their ships emerging from quantum tunnels in perfect formation. Your primitive understanding of quantum mechanics poses an unacceptable risk. Surrender your facilities and submit to technological containment, or face elimination. Santos smiled grimly. Funny thing about humans, we don't respond well to ultimatums. Initiative Alpha, execute. Across the solar system, humanity's trap sprung. Quantum research facilities on Earth, Mars, and various stations simultaneously activated their drives at maximum power, not for transportation, but to create a cascading wave of quantum interference. The Varkav fleet's precise formations began to waver as their quantum systems encountered increasing interference. Their ships are adjusting, Chen reported from his station on the Prometheus, compensating for the quantum noise faster than we predicted. Good, Santos replied. Initiative Beta, execute. Hidden among Jupiter's complex magnetic fields, Earth's remaining military vessels launched their attack. Not with conventional weapons, or even quantum-based ones, but with something the Varkav hadn't encountered in millennia: pure chaos theory applied to space warfare. The human ships had been modified over the past 2 days, their quantum drives deliberately destabilized to create unpredictable tunneling effects. They blinked in and out of normal space, appearing at seemingly random points around the Varkav fleet. Each appearance created new quantum disturbances, compounding the interference from Earth's facilities. The Varkav responded with overwhelming force, their weapons creating precisely calculated quantum singularities designed to tear the human ships apart. But in their quest for perfection, they'd forgotten something humans had learned through centuries of warfare. Sometimes the best strategy is to embrace chaos. Initiative Gamma, Santos commanded as the Varkath weapons fire intensified. All ships execute quantum drive overload sequences, random patterns, maximum dispersion. The space around Jupiter erupted into quantum chaos as dozens of human ships deliberately overloaded their drives. The Varkath's precise quantum calculations became useless in the storm of conflicting quantum effects. Their singularity weapons, requiring exact spatial coordinates, began to misfire. "Their formation is breaking," the tactical officer reported. Multiple Varkath vessels showing signs of systems failure. But victory remained far from certain. The alien ships began to adapt, their superior technology allowing them to compensate for the quantum interference. Several human vessels disappeared in flashes of twisted spacetime as the Varkath weapons found their marks. "Initiative Delta," Santos ordered, her voice tight with controlled tension. "Deploy the quantum mines." Over the past 2 days, Earth's scientists had worked frantically to modify their quantum drive technology into weapons. The results were crude but effective. Quantum drives rigged to overload in specific sequences, creating cascading waves of spatial distortion. These mines had been seeded throughout the battle space, waiting for activation. The quantum mines detonated in sequence, each explosion adding to the chaos. The Varkath fleet's perfect formation dissolved completely as their ships struggled to maintain quantum coherence in the storm of competing spatial distortions. "Commander," Chen called out, his voice urgent. "I'm detecting massive quantum surge from the Varkath flagship. They're attempting something big." The massive alien vessel at the center of their fleet began to glow with impossible energies. Space itself seemed to bend around it as it prepared to unleash its full power. "All ships, clear the combat zone," Santos ordered. "Initiative Omega. Authorization Santos 77 Delta." The Prometheus's quantum drive spun up to maximum power, but instead of creating a tunnel through space, it directed its energy straight at Jupiter's massive magnetic field. The gas giant's natural phenomena, already complex beyond human ability to fully predict, became a quantum amplifier. The result exceeded even their most optimistic calculations. Jupiter's magnetosphere erupted with quantum-enhanced energy, creating a wave of spatial distortions that swept through the battlefield like a tsunami through paper boats. The Varkath's perfectly calibrated quantum systems, unable to compensate for the sheer magnitude of chaos, began to fail. "Multiple Varkath ships retreating," Tactical reported. "Their quantum signatures are destabilizing. They're falling back." The massive alien flagship, its attempt at a superweapon disrupted by Jupiter's quantum-enhanced magnetic field, began to withdraw. Other Varkath vessels followed, their perfect formation now in shambles as they fled the quantum storm. As the battle zone cleared, Santos allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had bloodied the nose of a vastly superior force, using their own technological limitations as a weapon. But her smile faded as she studied the tactical display. They'd survived this battle, but the war was far from over. "Get me a channel to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them we've bought some time, but we need to prepare. The Varkath will be back, and next time they'll be ready for our tricks." The quantum storm around Jupiter began to fade, leaving behind a changed solar system. Humanity had proven they couldn't be easily contained, but they'd also learned a harsh truth. They were now part of a larger cosmic conflict, whether they were ready or not. Chen approached Santos as the bridge crew began damage assessment. "Commander, during the battle, I detected something odd in the Varkath quantum signatures. There was a pattern in their retreat that doesn't make sense unless..." "Unless what?" "Unless they're not just trying to contain us. I think they're afraid of something else, something they think our quantum experiments might attract." Santos stared out at the gas giant that had helped save humanity, its massive form now scarred with quantum after-effects that would take years to fade. Then we better figure out what that something is before it finds us. The battle was over, but the true test of humanity's resilience was just beginning. The Lunar Quantum Research Facility stretched deep beneath the moon's surface, a maze of laboratories where humanity's brightest minds worked to unlock the secrets of their recent encounter. 3 weeks had passed since the Battle of Jupiter, and Earth's defenders knew they were living on borrowed time. Dr. James Chen studied the holographic reconstruction of Varkaf quantum signatures, his neural implants processing data faster than any conventional computer. Beside him, Dr. Sara Lakshmi, the scientist who'd first detected the alien signal, manipulated the display with practiced gestures. "There it is again," she said, isolating a particular frequency pattern. Their quantum field coherence maintains perfect stability even during combat maneuvers. It's like they're afraid of quantum uncertainty, Chen finished. Every system they deploy operates with absolute precision. No randomness, no chaos. He paused, a thought taking shape. What if that's not just technological preference? What if it's necessity? Above them, through miles of lunar rock, humanity prepared for war. The shipyards of Earth and Mars worked around the clock, retrofitting vessels with newly designed quantum weapons. Commander Elena Santos had transferred her flag to the newly commissioned EDS Artemis, a ship built specifically to incorporate lessons learned from the Jupiter engagement. Santos stood in the Artemis Tactical Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the disposition of Earth's forces. The ship's quantum drive hummed beneath her feet, but unlike its predecessors, this one was designed to be unstable, capable of generating controlled chaos in the quantum field. "Status report on the Ganymede Defense Network," she commanded. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Kang, brought up a new display. Quantum mines are in position throughout Jupiter's orbital space. The gas giant's magnetosphere is still showing effects from our last encounter, making it perfect for what we have planned. The defensive strategy they developed was unprecedented. Rather than trying to match the Varkaf's superior technology, they'd embraced their own limitations. Every human ship now carried deliberately unstable quantum drives, designed to create interference patterns that disrupted the aliens' precise calculations. "Commander," her communications officer called out. "Priority message from Lunar Base. Dr. Chen requests your presence, says he's found something critical." Hours later, the command staff of the Artemis gathered in the lunar facility's main laboratory. Chen's discovery had changed everything. "The Varkaf aren't just methodical by choice," he explained, neural implants projecting his findings onto the lab's main display. "Their quantum technology requires absolute precision because they're trying to prevent something they call quantum bleed, a phenomenon that occurs when quantum fields become too chaotic. And why should we care about their engineering problems?" Admiral Reeves, the newly appointed head of Earth's Defense Forces, asked. Lakshmi stepped forward. "Because it's not an engineering problem, sir. It's existential. Look at these patterns in their quantum signatures. They're not just maintaining stability, they're actively suppressing quantum uncertainty across their entire sphere of influence." "They're afraid," Chen continued. "Their records suggest they once encountered something that exists in quantum uncertainty, something that thrives in chaos. Their entire civilization is built around preventing its return." Santos leaned forward, her mind racing with tactical implications. "And our crude, chaotic quantum experiments could attract it, yes. That's why they're so determined to stop us. But their fear of chaos has become their weakness. They've forgotten how to handle uncertainty." A plan began to form. Humanity couldn't match the Varkaf's technological sophistication, but they could weaponize the very chaos the aliens feared. The next phase of preparation began immediately. Over the following days, Earth's quantum researchers worked to develop what they called uncertainty amplifiers, devices designed not to create precise quantum effects, but to maximize quantum chaos in localized areas. Every defense platform, ship, and satellite was equipped with the new technology. When the Varkav fleet returned, emerging from quantum tunnels near Saturn's orbit, they found a very different human force waiting for them. The EDS Artemis led the defense fleet, its systems deliberately generating quantum interference patterns that made precise targeting impossible. All ships execute Operation Uncertainty, Santos commanded as the alien fleet approached. Random pattern Alpha through Delta, maximum dispersion. The human fleet scattered in seemingly random directions, each ship's quantum drive creating its own unique distortion in space-time. The Varkav's perfect formation began to waver as their sensors struggled to maintain coherence in the quantum chaos. They're responding exactly as predicted, Lieutenant Kang reported. Their ships are attempting to establish quantum stability zones. Activate the Ganymede array, Santos ordered. Hidden throughout Jupiter's complex system of moons, quantum uncertainty amplifiers powered up simultaneously. The space around the gas giant erupted into a storm of quantum chaos that made their previous battle look like a gentle breeze. The Varkav fleet's response was immediate and predictable. Their ships began emergency quantum field purges, trying to maintain the stability their technology required. But each purge only added to the chaos, creating a feedback loop that threatened to tear space itself apart. "Ma'am," her science officer called out, "we're detecting massive quantum field fluctuations from the Varkav flagship. They're losing containment." The massive alien vessel at the center of their fleet began to pulse with impossible energies as its quantum field containment systems failed. Other Varkav ships rushed to assist, but in doing so, they exposed themselves to even more quantum chaos. "Now," Santos commanded, "all ships execute attack pattern Prometheus." The human fleet struck from multiple vectors, their weapons not designed to destroy but to disrupt. Each hit created new quantum distortions, compounding the Varkav's problems. Ships that had seemed invincible during their first encounter now struggled to maintain basic functions as their perfectly ordered quantum systems encountered wave after wave of chaos. "Commander," Chen's voice came through from the lunar facility, "their quantum field collapse is accelerating. If they don't retreat soon." The warning came too late. The Varkav flagship's quantum containment failed catastrophically, creating a cascade of spatial distortions that forced both fleets to pull back. As the chaos subsided, a massive quantum tunnel formed near the stricken flagship. "All ships, full power to quantum shields," Santos ordered, but she wasn't watching the flagship. Her eyes were fixed on the tunnel, which wasn't closing like normal quantum tunnels should. Something was coming through, something that existed in quantum uncertainty, the very thing the Varkav had spent millennia trying to prevent. The battle between humans and Varkav ceased as both forces watched in horror as the tunnel expanded. Inside, shapes moved that shouldn't be possible, entities that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "Get me a channel to the Varkav flagship," Santos commanded. "All frequencies, including quantum bands." For the first time in human history, the Varkav responded to direct communication. Their message was simple: "You don't understand what you've done." Santos watched the quantum tunnel continue to grow, her voice steady as she replied, "No, but we're about to find out. And this time, we face it together, or we don't survive at all." The tide had turned, but not in the way anyone had expected. Humanity had proven they couldn't be easily contained, but in doing so, they'd attracted the attention of something far worse than the Varkav. As both fleets regrouped, preparing to face an unknown threat, one thing became clear: the real war was just beginning. The quantum tunnel pulsed with impossible colors as both human and Varkav fleets maintained a desperate containment formation around it. Inside the bridge of the EDS Artemis, Commander Elena Santos watched the sensor readings with growing concern. The entities within the tunnel existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously, a phenomenon that shouldn't be possible for anything larger than a subatomic particle. "Status report on the quantum containment field," she ordered, her voice steady despite the strain of the last 12 hours. Lieutenant Kang's fingers danced across his console. Combined human and Varkaf quantum fields are holding at 87% efficiency. The tunnel's expansion has slowed, but we can't close it completely. The alliance, if it could be called that, had formed out of desperate necessity. When the quantum tunnel had first appeared, the Varkaf's rigid technology had proven inadequate to contain it. Only the combination of their precise quantum manipulation and humanity's ability to work with chaos had prevented immediate disaster. "Commander," her communications officer called out, "the Varkaf flagship is requesting your presence. They want to show us something." Santos studied the massive alien vessel, its hull still bearing scars from their recent battle. "Inform them I'll accept, under one condition: Dr. Chen comes with me." The interior of the Varkaf flagship defied human comprehension. Corridors shifted and realigned as they walked, guided by beings that seemed to exist partially out of phase with normal space-time. Chen's neural implants worked overtime, trying to process the impossible geometry of their surroundings. They were led to what appeared to be a command center, though its actual purpose could only be guessed at. The Varkaf leader, a being of shifting crystalline formations that hurt the eyes to look at directly, waited for them. "You have witnessed what we have fought to prevent." The aliens' thoughts resonated directly in their minds. "Now you must understand why." The chamber's walls became transparent, revealing a vast database of historical records. Images and data streamed directly into Chen's neural implants, while Santos received them as a series of vivid mental impressions. 3,000 of your years ago, the Varkaf continued, "Our civilization reached the pinnacle of quantum technology. We believed we had mastered the fundamental forces of reality itself. We were wrong." The historical records showed a thriving civilization spanning multiple galaxies, their mastery of quantum mechanics, allowing them to reshape reality at will. But with each advancement, each new manipulation of quantum fields, something stirred in the spaces between possibilities. "We called them the quantum dreamers," the alien explained. "Entities that exist in superposition, beings of pure quantum uncertainty. Our experiments drew their attention. Our manipulation of reality gave them a way in." The images shifted to show entire solar systems consumed by quantum chaos as the dreamers emerged into normal space-time. Billions died as reality itself unraveled around them. "We survived only by learning to suppress quantum uncertainty itself," the Varkaf leader continued. "Our entire civilization restructured around maintaining absolute quantum stability. When we detected your species beginning to experiment with quantum technology, you tried to stop us before we could attract their attention," Santos finished. "But our chaotic approach to quantum mechanics had already done what you feared." Chen stepped forward, his neural implants processing the historical data at maximum speed. "But there's something you're not telling us. Your records show gaps, entire periods of history sealed away." The Varkaf leader's crystalline form shifted, a gesture that might have been discomfort. There were attempts to fight back, to weaponize the very chaos that the dreamers brought with them. More records appeared, showing experimental Varkaf ships designed to generate controlled quantum chaos. The projects had all ended in disaster, entire research fleets lost to the void. "Your species," the alien continued, "has done what we could not. You've learned to work with quantum uncertainty rather than suppress it. In doing so, you've developed defenses we never considered possible." Santos understood the implications immediately. "That's why our crew technology was effective against you. We never tried to achieve perfect quantum stability." "And now," Chen added, studying the latest sensor readings from the quantum tunnel, "that same crew technology might be our only chance against the dreamers." The Varkaf leader's form pulsed with what might have been agreement. "We offer an exchange. We will share our understanding of quantum mechanics, our technology, our history. In return, you want us to help you fight the dreamers," Santos finished. "To do what your civilization couldn't, find a way to defeat them." The alien's response carried a weight of millennia of fear and hope. Your species has achieved in decades what we could not in thousands of years. You've learned to embrace chaos, to work within quantum uncertainty rather than fear it. The dreamers are coming, drawn by the quantum disturbances we created in our battle. Will you help us face them? Santos looked at Chen, who nodded slightly. The sensor readings from the quantum tunnel were growing more unstable by the minute. Soon, the combined containment field would fail, and the dreamers would emerge into normal space-time. We'll help, Santos agreed, but on one condition: no more attempts to contain human development. We fight this threat together, as equals. The Varkath leader's form shifted into a configuration that somehow conveyed both relief and determination. Agreed. Though I warn you, what we face defies comprehension even by our standards. The dreamers do not think as we do not exist as we do. They are living quantum uncertainty, able to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Then we'll have to get creative, Santos replied, a plan already forming in her mind. Dr. Chen, contact Lunar Base. Tell them to prepare for a full data transfer from the Varkath archives, and get me a secure channel to Earth's Defense Council. They need to know what we're really up against. As they left the Varkath flagship, Chen spoke quietly. Commander, the sensor readings from the tunnel, they're showing patterns I've never seen before. Whatever's coming through, it's big. Santos watched the swirling quantum chaos within the tunnel, knowing that humanity's greatest test was about to begin. Then we better hope this alliance works, because if what the Varkath showed us is true, we're not just fighting for Earth anymore, we're fighting for reality itself. The quantum tunnel pulsed again, stronger this time, and for a moment, something moved within its depths, a shape that existed in all possible states at once, a being of pure quantum uncertainty. The true war was about to begin, and humanity's ability to embrace chaos might be the universe's last hope. The combined human Varkath fleet hung in formation around Jupiter's orbit, every ship's quantum systems linked in a desperate attempt to contain the growing tunnel. On the bridge of the EDS Artemis, Commander Elena Santos studied the latest simulations from Dr. Chen's team on Lunar Base. What they proposed seemed impossible, even by the standards of the last few weeks. You want us to do what? She asked over the quantum-encrypted channel. Chen's hologram flickered with quantum interference as he explained. The dreamers exist in quantum superposition, all possible states simultaneously. The Varkath try to fight them by enforcing quantum stability. We need to do the opposite. We need to become like them, Dr. Lakshmi added, her image appearing beside Chen's. Not just creating quantum chaos, but embracing it. The Varkath archives showed us how. The plan was audacious. Using combined human and Varkath technology, they would attempt to shift the entire fleet into a state of quantum uncertainty, existing in multiple possibilities simultaneously, just like the dreamers. The Varkath tried this before, Santos reminded them. Their records show it failed catastrophically. They tried to control it, Chen countered. We're going to ride it, like surfing a wave of probability. The quantum drives on our ships are already designed to work with uncertainty. The Varkath's precision technology will give us just enough control to prevent complete dissolution. Santos turned to her tactical display, where the quantum tunnel's mouth had grown to nearly the size of Earth's moon. Inside, the dreamers waited, entities of pure quantum possibility that threatened to unravel the fabric of reality itself. How long until they break through? Hours at most, Lieutenant Kang reported. The containment field is failing faster than we can reinforce it. Santos made her decision. Begin the modifications. All ships, prepare for quantum state shift, and get me a channel to the Varkath flagship. The crystalline being that commanded the alien fleet appeared in her mind directly. You propose madness, it communicated, to deliberately enter quantum uncertainty. Is exactly what your people were afraid to try, Santos finished. You spent millennia running from chaos. We're going to embrace it. The next few hours passed in a blur of desperate preparation. Every ship in the combined fleet underwent radical modifications, their quantum drives linked in ways that defied conventional physics. The Varkaf provided the precision, while human innovation supplied the controlled chaos needed to achieve their goal. Dr. Chen's voice came through the command channel. Final simulations complete. We estimate a 47% chance of success. And the other 53%? Santos asked. Total quantum dissolution. We'd cease to exist in any meaningful way. Santos allowed herself a grim smile. Better odds than we usually get. All ships, prepare for quantum state shift. Operation Schrödinger is go. The fleet moved into formation around the quantum tunnel, their modified drives powering up simultaneously. On the Artemis bridge, reality began to blur at the edges as the quantum field intensified. First phase complete, Kang reported, his voice seeming to come from multiple locations at once. Quantum uncertainty field is stabilizing, beginning phase 2. The sensation was indescribable. Santos felt herself existing in multiple states simultaneously, sitting in her command chair, standing at tactical, walking the corridors of her ship. Each possibility was equally real, equally present. The dreamers are responding, Chen's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. They recognize what we're doing. There, the quantum tunnel erupted. The dreamers emerged, vast beings of shifting probability, each one existing in all possible states at once. Their very presence threatened to unravel space-time, but now the combined fleet matched their quantum state. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta, Santos ordered, her commands reaching across all possible realities. Remember the simulations. Don't try to exist in any single state, flow between them. The battle that followed defied description. Ships existed in multiple locations simultaneously, weapons fired in all possible configurations at once. The dreamers, encountering resistance that matched their own nature for the first time, reacted with what might have been surprise. It's working. Chen's excitement carried across all quantum states. They can't simply phase through our attacks anymore. We're hitting them in every possible reality at once. But the dreamers were ancient, experienced in existing across quantum states. They began to adapt, pushing the fleet toward quantum configurations that would tear them apart. Containment fields failing on multiple ships, Kang reported. We can't maintain this state much longer. Santos felt it, the pull toward quantum dissolution, the temptation to let go and exist in all states forever. But with that sensation came an understanding. The dreamers weren't trying to destroy reality, they were trying to convert it, to make everything exist in quantum uncertainty like them. Chen, she called out across all possibilities, the Varkaf archives, did they ever try to communicate with the dreamers? No, his response came. They were too afraid of the quantum interference. Then let's try something new. All ships, reconfigure quantum fields to pattern Alpha 7. We're going to send them a message. The combined fleet shifted their quantum states, creating patterns in probability itself. The dreamers paused in their assault, their multi-state existence rippling with what might have been curiosity. We're making contact, Chen reported. The patterns, they're responding. The communication that followed transcended normal understanding. Through quantum states, the fleet conveyed a simple message. Coexistence was possible. Reality could support both certainty and uncertainty, order and chaos, as long as balance was maintained. The dreamers' response came in waves of quantum possibility. They had been drawn to consciousness by the first quantum experiments eons ago, seeking to share their state of existence with others. The Varkaf's fear and rejection had led to conflict, but humanity's embrace of uncertainty offered a new possibility. They're offering a compromise. Chen translated, his consciousness spread across quantum states. They'll help us understand quantum uncertainty, teach us to navigate it safely. In return, we teach them about existing in single states, Santos finished, understanding flowing through all possibilities. We show them why certainty has its own value. The quantum tunnel began to contract, not from containment, but from choice. The dreamers withdrew, leaving behind a gift, knowledge encoded in quantum states that would help both humanity and the Varkath understand the true nature of reality. As the fleet returned to normal space-time, Santos felt a moment of loss. The experience of existing in quantum uncertainty had changed them all, but she also felt hope. They had faced an impossible enemy and found not victory or defeat, but understanding. The Varkath leader's thoughts reached out one final time. Your species has shown us a truth we forgot long ago. The universe is not meant for perfect order or complete chaos, but for the endless dance between them. Tomorrow's going to be interesting, Santos replied, watching the quantum tunnel seal itself. We have a lot to learn from each other. As the combined fleet began their journey home, sensors detected new quantum signatures throughout the solar system, areas where reality flickered between states, where possibility itself had been forever changed. The price of tomorrow had been paid not in destruction, but in transformation. Humanity had reached for the stars and found not just aliens, but a new understanding of reality itself. The future would bring challenges as they learn to balance certainty and chaos, to exist in both single states and quantum uncertainty. But they would face it together, humans, Varkath, and even the dreamers, each teaching the others about their own unique way of existing. The universe, it seemed, was big enough for all possibilities.